Devotional Comics. Call your friends, call your friends. It's time to learn some Bible stories. Call your friends, call your friends. To love the Lord and grow in His word. To be a friend of God. It's time for Devotional Comics. Call your friends, call your friends.
It's Bible story time. Hi friends. Welcome to Devotional Comics for Children, where Bible stories come to life. Today, we have an exciting story for you. Jesus calls his first disciples. You'll see how 4 ordinary fishermen had their lives changed forever when Jesus called them to follow him. Are you ready for an adventure? Let's get started. The story of Jesus calls his first disciples is in the book of Luke, chapter 5, verses 1 to 11. It was a beautiful morning by the Sea of Galilee. Fishermen were cleaning their nets after a long night of fishing. The beach was noisy and busy, but something exciting was about to happen. Do you know what it was? Jesus was coming. The crowd grew bigger and bigger as everyone wanted to hear him speak. Jesus walked toward 2 boats near the water's edge. Simon Peter and Andrew are cleaning their nets. Jesus, with a kind smile, said, "Simon, may I use your boat so I can teach the people from the water?" Simon Peter, nodding, said, "Of course, teacher. Climb aboard." Simon and Andrew pushed the boat into the water. Jesus sat down and began to teach the crowd. Jesus taught them about God's love and how they could trust him with all their hearts. The people listened closely, amazed by his words. The crowd began to leave. Jesus turned to Simon Peter. "Simon, let's go out into the deep water. Throw your nets into the sea and catch some fish." Simon looks at Jesus, puzzled, and said, "Master, we've been fishing all night and caught nothing. Not even a tiny fish." Simon scratched his head but then looked at Jesus with a thoughtful expression. "But, if you say so, I'll try again," replied Simon Peter. Simon and Andrew row into deeper waters. They threw their net into the sea and wait. What do you think happened next? Did they catch a few fish? No. The net became so full of fish that it almost broke. Simon Peter and Andrew struggle to pull the net in. The boat tilts and creaks under the weight of the fish. Simon Peter shouted, "Andrew, help me. We need more hands." Simon waved frantically at their friends in the other boat. "James! John! Come quickly! We can't do this alone," shouted Simon Peter. James and John rushed over and helped pull the net. Both boats were now overflowing with fish. "I've never seen so many fish in my life." James laughed in surprise. John, with wide eye, said, "Where did they all come from?" Simon Peter suddenly realized this is no ordinary catch. He fell to his knees in front of Jesus, trembling. "Lord, I don't deserve to be near you. I'm just a simple fisherman," said Simon Peter with awe and humility. Jesus places his hand on Simon's shoulder and spoke gently. "Don't be afraid, Simon. From now on, you won't catch fish, you'll catch people," said Jesus. Simon was confused. Catch people? What did Jesus mean? Simon Peter, Andrew, James, and John stood together, looking at their boats and the mountain of fish. "What should we do?" asked Andrew. "We can't just go back to fishing after this," replied James. "Jesus is calling us. Let's follow him," affirmed Simon Peter with determination. They left everything behind, the boats, the nets, even the fish, and followed Jesus. And just like that, Simon Peter, Andrew, James, and John became Jesus' first disciples. They didn't know what adventures lay ahead, but they trusted Jesus and followed him. Jesus is calling all of us to follow him too. What will you say when he calls? Lessons kids can learn from the story of Jesus calling his first disciples. 1. Obedience to God's call. The disciples immediately left everything to follow Jesus, teaching kids the importance of obeying God without hesitation. 2. Trust in God. Peter and the other fishermen trusted Jesus when he told them to cast their nets again, even after they caught nothing all night. This shows that trusting God brings great results. 3. God can use ordinary people. Jesus chose ordinary fishermen, showing that God can use anyone for his purposes. 4. Leaving old ways behind. The disciples left their fishing nets and boats to follow Jesus, symbolizing the need to leave behind distractions and focus on God's plan. 5. Being fishers of people. Jesus called the disciples to be fishers of men, teaching kids the importance of sharing God's love and bringing others to him. 6. Teamwork and unity. The disciples worked together as fishermen before following Jesus, highlighting the value of working together for a common goal. 7. Faith leads to abundance. When Peter trusted Jesus, they caught an overwhelming number of fish. This shows how faith in God leads to blessings beyond expectations. What an amazing story! Simon Peter, Andrew, James, and John left everything to follow Jesus. They trusted him, even when it didn't make sense. And guess what? Jesus is calling us too. When we follow him, amazing things can happen in our lives. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Devotional Comics for Children. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss any new Bible adventures. See you next time, and remember, Jesus loves you. Bye.
It's time for Devotional Comics. Call your friends, call your friends. It's time to learn some Bible stories. Call your friends, call your friends. To love the Lord and grow in his word. To be